Moshiach is here, reads the billboards off of the highway as you're heading into Miami. Moshiach is a Jewish word for Messiah. These billboards have been up in New York City as well for years that read, Moshiach is here, just add goodness and kindness, long live the Rebbe King Messiah forever, and then a website. This points to the belief of some Jewish people that Menachem Mendel Schneerson is the Messiah. This man already passed away on June 12, 1994, but the belief is that he's coming back because he's the Messiah. I'll read from the website Gula Generation that's on the billboard why they believe he's the Messiah. The recognition that Rebbe is Moshiach is based on 1. The description of Moshiach found in Jewish law, halakha, as codified by the great sage Maimonides, and 2. The Rebbe's own words in his talks translated from Yiddish and sent out to Jews worldwide. The website also has a declaration for accepting Moshiach, which within the declaration says, May my acceptance strengthen you in your mission to build the holy temple in Jerusalem, gather the dispersed of Israel, and bring the entire world to recognize the one God. Which is one reason I believe the third temple is a physical building, because the Jewish people are absolutely working towards building it, and it just makes sense within the prophecies of Jacob's trouble for those fulfillments to be within the third temple the Jewish people are trying to build. But this man, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, is obviously not the Messiah. Isn't it interesting that the Jews who think this man is the Messiah are saying he will come again? Sounds like they are stealing the idea from the New Testament of Christianity of Jesus' second coming. But before I get into the proofs that these claims of Messiah are wrong because Jesus alone is the only person who could have fulfilled them, let's look at some more claims that the Messiah is coming. JewishPress.com, Moshiach is here. Now what are we going to do about it? Israel365news.com, Rabbi Kanivsky announced the Messiah is here among us. Here on a Jewish message board, the Yeshiva World, the question Moshiach by 2030 is put forth, and in the comments is discussion of how and why they believe the Messiah is coming soon according to the Mishnah and Gemara, which is both Jewish collections of oral traditions and rabbinical writings such as the Talmud. It's actually kind of interesting to see how much Jewish people study the Torah and Old Testament texts and somehow still believe the Messiah isn't Jesus Christ. There are many verses that prove that Jesus Christ alone is the Messiah, and it's impossible for anyone in our current time to be the Messiah. Here are some of those Old Testament messianic prophecies that Jesus fulfilled and that him and him alone could have only fulfilled. Messiah would come from the tribe of Judah, Genesis 49:10. Jewish people today don't know what tribe they're from. That knowledge has been lost through the generations. Messiah would be a descendant of King David, 2 Samuel 7:12 through 16. Just like the knowledge of what tribe Jewish people are from, the knowledge of lineages has been lost. I think maybe all of this DNA testing sites such as Ancestry.com and 23andMe may be what they try to use to claim that the Jewish people have figured out what tribes they're from, what lineages they're from, because the Antichrist will be the Messiah the world accepts who comes next. And in order to fulfill these messianic prophecies in our times, he's going to have to use some way to falsely prove that he fulfills these messianic prophecies. Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, Micah 5:2. Messiah would arrive before the destruction of the Second Temple, Daniel 9:24 through 27. This may be one of the most obvious ones, because the Second Temple was destroyed in 70 AD. So it's impossible for anyone born after 70 AD and the destruction of the Second Temple to fulfill this prophecy. Of course, there will probably be jumps and hoops that are made to work around these prophecies. Also, more so when the Antichrist and false prophet are performing false miracles and calling fire down from the sky. This will lead many astray, and they won't even care what the prophecies say. Messiah would present himself by riding on a donkey, Zechariah 9:9. Messiah would be tortured to death, Psalm 22:1 through 31. Messiah's life would match a particular description, including suffering, silence at his arrest and trial, death and burial in a rich man's tomb, and resurrection, Isaiah 52:13 through 53 and 12. So those descriptions of what Messiah would go through in Isaiah 52 and the tortured death of Messiah in Psalm 22 will be something that we will not see again when this Messiah that they receive comes, because the Antichrist won't be arrested or tortured, and of course he won't keep silent and he will speak blasphemies constantly. But at first he will seem like a man of peace with all the answers, bringing Jewish people and Muslims together, bringing a peace agreement between the nations. Many lukewarm Christians and Christians who say, Lord, Lord, but the Lord doesn't actually know, will support this man as well. All the world will marvel after him. This is who's coming on the scene next. The Messiah that the Jewish people are expecting will not be the true Moshiach. Only Jesus fulfilled those prophecies and no one else can. John 5:43, Jesus speaking says, "I've come in my Father's name and you do not receive me. If another shall come in his own name, you will receive him." Prophecy is the key to knowing the times and the answers of these spiritual questions. Not a single prophecy of any other religion comes true because all of those religions do not follow the one true living God. Some prophecies within the Quran look like they'll come true or do, but simply because it was written 700 years after Jesus and is clearly plagiarized from biblical texts and stories going around the region. That's why Muhammad commanded all original Quran writings to be destroyed after the Quran was completed, so no one could look back at the original texts and see the fallacies and errors and discrepancies. But that's a topic for another video. All peoples marvel and follow after the next, quote, Messiah comes on the earth, but he will indeed be the Antichrist. It will hopefully be more clear to the world when he demands his mark, name, or number to be on your hand and head, such as mentioned in Revelation 13, or after he survives his headly dead wound and is brought back to life, or performs miracles of sorts and has an image that he demands people to bow down and worship. Lastly, in what seems to be his last act, he declares to be God in the third temple, committing the abomination of desolation. After this, the full wrath of God is poured out on the earth. They're the signs to watch for, and we know Jesus Christ is the Messiah. Jesus changes lives. All these other people who claim to be Messiah don't transform the most lost lives into living in freedom and full life. We literally see hundreds of millions, even billions of people's lives completely, radically changed by accepting Jesus Christ, something that no other Messiah or religion has. Pretty amazing that we have Christianity, the truth of God, then Islam, a clearly plagiarized version of those texts and stories of Christianity. Then we have the Jewish people following the early texts of Christianity, but have failed to see the full picture. And then we have the Eastern Indian religions, which worship after golden images and statues and things like this, which all through the Bible warned since the beginning of days that the Israelites even struggled with through times, but has been warned against since the earliest biblical texts. It's amazing to see all the world's largest religions all following surrounding the biblical truths. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and the only way to heaven is through him, and accepting him as the Messiah and the Son of God and man. That's my prayer for all who watch this and all peoples of the world, to accept Jesus as the Messiah and experience the fullness of life and the greatest joy and expectation of eternal life in heaven with him. Thanks for watching, and God bless.